Okay, what we got, Mark 1 pre-facelift Caprice. We're going to do two just to show you. This one, let's see that, oops, there's this whole section here missing. You'll probably see that, alright, and a section behind the spring pin that's been damaged by these. They're very, very harsh on the switches. I'm going to file those off later a little bit to make them go on easier. Right, so we're doing that one, and then that's going to be the only switch in all the Capris that is slightly different, because this is on the upper mark XLRs, and you could get it as an option, but that controls your panel lights and your interior lights, and that's slightly different inside. All the others, that's just a normal casing, but all the others will be similar inside. So we'll start with the normal one. Let's take it apart. Pretty much just grab it, we'll turn it over. You're looking, you've got the tabs, you've got 4 tabs, so pretty much we're going to have them up. Do not cut your hands, you be careful. The screwdriver slips, keep it away from yourself, you don't want to hurt yourself. Okay, we'll take all 4 tabs back, just moving away from the black box, because that's the bit that's going to come away. We're done. So pretty much hold the black bit because it's on a spring, and it's going to pop back. On the side you've got all the mechanism there, we'll put that there. You take off your 2 springs, either end, like that. Pretty much. So this bit, that section just comes out. What you're going to look at is in there, slide it to one side, is a spring. Generally they're always fine, but just check that, because if it's damaged you would have to change it. But those springs, they're pretty good. We're going to put it back in there. Later on you're going to put just a dob of grease in there, but to get them back on you simply push that across. You see the legs, you've got little legs that go over the pin and it slips in. When reinstalling, you make sure that little slit in there is going to match up with your trigger underneath, alright, because it can actually go in the wrong way around, but you're not silly. Okay, it would have been a good idea if it's your first time as well, before you split that apart, whoops, is to have marked. You might mark just on the back of the casing, or pretty much make it, what you want to do is put it back the same way, so that all the other switches on is on, so that the actual logos will line up. But it really, if you do it, put it like that and put it like that, and always keep it in the same way, you're going to know which way it went. It's not that important, I shouldn't have made a big deal of it. But, alright, here we go. So then we're going to get the tabs. You've got to get the tabs all straight now. So pretty much a pair of pliers. But pretty much if you can get those tabs straight, because they're going to come out through the slots in the plastic casing. So we'll twist that one straight. That one. That one and that one. It pretty much should be there. So we can now just withdraw the front button. That's all that's in there. You've just got your casing like that, and put that there, and your rocker. This one here, straight away, you're going to put in some, it's going to be a lot of muck and stuff off fingers over the years on that, so it's going to be quite greasy. Heavy detergent, a little touch of anything that will take solvent off, but it's going to have to be degreased, that's all. So you give it a nice scale. You really don't want to sand it if you can help it, but this bit you do want to sand where the imprints are, because you can just take down the pattern there till it's just slightly flat, because we're going to be putting stuff over the front of that. But the side bits, if you can just do it with a scourer, it's much better. So put that one to one side, because you're going to thoroughly clean that, sand down any what's left of the logos. You'll note on the fan one, it's the only one of all the switches that has a logo on the fat side. You've got one longer side of the switch, one short side of the switch. All the logos normally go on the short side of the switch. Okay, put that to one side for cleaning. But this little puppy, it's got all its contacts in there, and those is the contacts you want to clean. Alright, so those contacts are going to have to be cleaned. A little bit of sandpaper. We use a tiny little wire brush that just on an air powered thing that goes in there and zoom, takes them away. And if you can, just spend a little time looking at the posts. These ones are quite clean, but there's a contact as well. Put that over there. And also this face over here is also going to need cleaning. Okay, so pull those aside for cleaning. The next one is this. What you pretty much want to do is get even all that chrome stuff there. You don't worry about so much inside the casing, but your outer bit and this edge, and especially underneath the ledge there, spend a lot of time with that. You want that very clean, so give that a light sand, and then we'll go on to put it back together. Alright, next one is the broken one. One with the broken casing. Okay, so we'll do the same again. You get your 4 legs back. Keep your thumb over it, then it won't spring off or anything like that. But this one's been attached before. Stop watching the camera and I'll start watching this. Okay, so bent them all back. Well, that one, someone's been in there quite badly, but either way, so this one's going to come apart like that, and this one will differ from the other switches in this bit. So you pull this over, it's going to have 2 sets. Oh, it's full of water as well. So this is quite a good one to do then, because this has actually been full of water, but pretty much what's going to have, that one is supposed to have been on the end of that. Trying to do this so you can see it. It's pretty beaten up. And you've got two springs, and that one you've got a thin strip that goes over that way, but nothing clicks these on, they just sit in place. And that one, so we'll put that one down for a second. Now, if you were going to mark them, going to mark the switch as a tool for reassembly, which all it is going to affect where your trigger goes. So pretty much the place to mark would be, say, if you're going to clean it all, on the inside of the casing is there. If you can't find a marker or something that will leave a mark, go in your wife's drawer, your girlfriend's drawer, and get some of the Tipex or Whiteout or something like that. So that went that way. And we're going to take this button out of here. You're going to mark inside this casing underneath the switch. So we'll put that down in order there. Coming round, and this was pretty bent around. We'll take the spring pins off. Okie dokie, so we'll try and get that little ear straight. That little ear done. Gosh, whoever was here was very heavy handed. Get that one done. That one. It's going to be a bit of a tug out for that one, but we'll get it. But pretty much it's going to come out. This one has been dented quite a bit. Still will come out. Trust me, I've never seen one this bad, so it will let's get those ears straight. Around the other side's been bent pretty bad as well. And the ears have been actually bent inwards on this. Just trying to get them all straight. It's alright, because it's not a race. You don't have to do it as quick as possible. You want to get it out without breaking anything. Those two. Alright, that's what I can do. Because they've been bent inwards as well as sideways. Let's bring them over a bit more. Pretty much. Come on. Maybe a better example to do one that's really this bad. Okay, nearly there. Nearly there. Looking straighter now. slots again, because they just go through some slots on your plastic casing. That looks a bit better lined up. Maybe this time. Come on, come on. At no point do you get the chisel and the hammer, because it won't come out, alright? Because it will just tease out. But that one, poof, look at the water and rust things. Maybe this was out of a submarine. But either way, so to mark it, there's a black strip under there that's not going to be touched at all, so you could mark on top of that. And really the inside of the casing, well, that bit at the bottom, you could clean one little bit out and just mark down in there, because that won't be touched either. So you've got it all in order and you're all marked. So what we're going to do again is, well, pretty much this one's going to need a wire brush on this rusty bit. It's not affected the button still moves quite freely, so we're going to clean all this rust and stuff off. Same again with this, we're going to scour it, and if it's left any impression at all, it's just going to be a little panel light logo on that one. But scour at the front there, and if that is raised slightly, just a light sand on that bit. The other one will just need scouring. Okay, so that's the side for cleaning this little puppy. Alright, you got, now in here, in amongst all the rust and stuff, hopefully you will see there's a small line separating the contacts on one side and the contacts on the other. So you have the big slide goes in the bigger gap, and the other one's going to fit in the smaller one. It's quite simple to put back together, but we're going to give that a thorough cleaning, and the pins are pretty grubby, so we're going to go off and scrub that out as well. Alright, so cleaning. You got your two, this only had one pin in it. Either way, so we'll pinch for another switch and just say it had two spring pins in it. Then, come back to this little puppy, so you can take this off because you can't get it confused. It has a smaller gap and a larger gap in underneath the springs. Check that rusty spring. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on that. Take the springs out and give that a thorough cleaning. That's awful. And these contacts are so rusty, blimey. But either way, we'll bring them back. So I'm going to go off now and get dirty on cleaning all those up. We'll come back in a minute with some clean stuff. Alright. Right, got the dirty stuff done. This one was quite normal, not that much damaged, come up really quite nice. We've cleaned the points in there. Cleaned off your little face. That was with a 320 wet and dry paper. I've just cleaned that with a scourer. The spring come up quite nice. These little puppies, alright, they do a lot of damage to the switch. They're horrible. So what we always do with them, let's get it so we can see it. It's the spring clips that go either side, and that clicks it into your dashboard. Is, I'll try and get this on the camera so you can see it. That bit down the bottom with the long leg goes at the base of your switch, but it's that top bit there that's probably, let's say, about 3 mil long. So what you want to do is file it. We're going to take off of that top bit 2 mil away from it. We're still clicking alright. You're pretty much going to reduce that top leg. If you take 2 mil off of that, this end, not the long end, the smaller end, take 2 mil off of that, just with a file, holding the pair of pliers and file it off. We're still clicking quite perfectly, but it will not put so much stress on your switch. I'm going to show you where it stresses the switch. One of the ones we took apart, this one, everything looked good, but it's already cracked through the casing. It's going to make no difference, but it's obviously put a weakness there, and eventually it will start to crack. So the more times you take it in and out as it was, the more it will break. Now let's get on to the dirty one. This is the one that had the broken casing, and most of the staining's come off inside. We've cleaned it up. Still, some of the bits, it just stained the plastic, but it makes no difference as long as we've got it clean. That's what counts. And all the bits that it gripped onto, we've got them clean. The actual rocker come up not too bad. It's quite good to clean. You notice that it's all been sanded on the top and then scaled on the sides, so it will all go a flat colour. and inside of that all the contacts did come up clean, so quite happy with that. As damaged as it was, it's going to work perfectly. And the two slides that go on the conductors come up quite nice. The springs weren't damaged at all, even though they were rusty. It didn't damage, so that's all going to be fine. What we're going to do next is your two buttons you're going to take to one side. Well, as if you're doing a whole set, obviously the two I've got, we're going to paint them. You're going to paint them. We use the chassis black, we can use acrylic. What you really want to do is put a clear over after we put the logo on. So we're going to do them black, put the logo on, give them a dust over of clear. So put them to one side. What we're going to do now is get a tiny bit of grease. You can use a gun or whatever you want, but it makes it simpler just on here. We want a tiny little bit on this spring because that does have to work. And as that compresses up, so that's going back in your standard trigger. Just sit it in there like that. And you get the plate with the legs. You get the legs is how it clicks together. Slide it down and then across the legs, and it'll stay there. This is the bit that actually wants lubricating though, because that will be doing all the work. This bit goes over the contact, and the grease will not stop any contact at all. The switch will work perfectly. So you've greased it up like that. You got your cleaned up casing, so you might as well for now. So don't forget your slot to where your trigger goes. And you put it in. It makes a much nicer movement. Put that one to one side. Let's take the XLR interior light come panel light switch. A bit more grease. Want your control box. And a tiny bit of grease on those springs. Put it on the little pins on these that hold them. Get the other spring. Touch of grease. Not all that, you're not having all that. On the other pin, you get your two rollovers. So you see you've got one shallow mark, you've got a line down the side of there, so you know exactly which is the shallow one. Put that one on. And you get the big one. And you'll put that one on. I'm just holding it with my fingers there. And I'm going to put a little bit of grease on there and there. Grab the box. So we've got the small slots, the big slots. Okay. You can't get it confused. You just balance it on top like that. Squeeze it in. It's not quite gone in the slot there. So just one of them slightly off because it needs to go in the little runner down the bottom. Just move it across. When it sits in, it will spring into place. Bring it up flat. Didn't work at all, so take it out. It's not sitting in there flat. Bring it in like that. And the grease is actually holding them in anyway, so it makes no difference. But so you've got the small slot, big slot. Plonk it in like that. Just get it to go in straight so it's inside the slots. When it sits flat, you know it's in right. It springs up and down, either way. It's in, and that will go across and back, and that's fine. So we'll put that one to one side as well. Right, so you're going to go off, do your two buttons, and we'll get on with that, and then we get to the casings, alright? While you're doing it, don't forget, file the tips off with little spring clips, and we'll get back to it. Right, let's go and spray the buttons. Okay, so you've painted your buttons, and you would have got, I had another bit of footage that I've put in for putting your logos on. The logos on your buttons. You've cleaned your buttons down. See probably a slight thing there that's been smoothed down flat. So the bit of that's the only bit I used the sandpaper on. The rest of it been cleaned up. It's come up a nice even colour. So if it's come up a nice even colour, you wouldn't actually need to dust it black, because by the time you put clear over it, come up alright. So the thing there is smoothed down again. This one I'm not so sure about. This one's come up really quite silvery. So that one we're going to dust with black. I just can't be sure of that one. But the light grey ones, they will come up with a bit of clear on them. Absolutely lovely. So we'll pick one of those because they're ready to go. That's your two slightly grey ones. I mean, it's always safer to paint the whole thing black, then put the logo on, then paint it clear, but they will come up lovely. Well, you find out in a second, won't you? So, you got your sheet. Pretty much an easier way of getting these off is you just roll it, and then with tweezers, just be able to pick one off. So we'll do, what do you reckon, panel light one on that one? We can do that. I've got to roll it round. Get a corner off of it, and then tease it off with my tweezers. There we go. Grab it with the tweezers, pull off. Now what you want to do is some water, okay? Get it in there. Soak it. It'll be much easier to put on if you do this. Okay, you know where your picture's going that way up to that way up. So you're matching the picture up. Pretty much, you're going to get it in position. Happy with the position. So even like that, see I'm not sticking on there because I've slowed down the glue for now. Because once that sticks, that will stick. Got it where I want it. With a soft cloth, you just squeeze out a bit of the water, then you've got a bonding, alright, and we're going to put a blank square on the other side. Get a blank square off, same again, I've already rolled that bit, so I've got that one off, in the water, got it soaked, wrong switch, I want this one, get it in position that I want it in, to match that one, just about there. You have to come around a bit. It's a bit hard to do it on the camera. Pinch it in where I want it. Smooth it down. Okay, want to do that again? We'll do a headlight one, shall we? Put that to one side. Another one in. Headlights. We'll just go to the other end there. So I'll do the same again. I'll just fold that a little bit, teasing it off. Get the logo off, there we go, in the water, and pretty much the picture wants to be that way. It's quite important you put the picture the right way up. Okay, I'm going to float that into where I want it, pinch it off, and love it. Got a blank one on as well, same again, just peel it off, in the water. Get it soaked, around, pat it out, so it's going to have to be dried off. Then I'm going to go and give those two a clear coat. Okay, those two there. That one there, I'm going to give a bit of a blackening off, and then put the logo on that one, and we'll all compare. We'll come back in a second. I'll show you how the clear works just over this normal silver. Alright. Okay, so we've got the two of them we've done just with clear coat. Okay, and the other one, go dust the black, and we'll do the same again. We'll give this one wipers. Let's do wipers. Okay, same again. Roll it over a little bit. Just get the edge off. Get your tweezers. Tease it off. Dunk it in your water. And wait for these to dry. These are just soft, but they're dry enough for me to half touch. Get your logo, going the right way up with your logo. floated in position. I'm not happy with that, so we'll take that off again. Okay. Just a little bit further down. Pinch in place. That down. Now you might want to always have to put the blanking on as well. If you get a nice finish on the other side of the button and you think, oh, I don't need to put that on, don't put it on. Just leave it like that. So that one I have to put to one side, because I have to clear that now. It's more to protect the picture here, because over the years again, your fingers are going to start eating it. Put a touch of clear over it, triples, more than triples the life of it. Okay, and that was putting on the pictures. Not so hard, is it? So that was the XLR multiple interior light, dashboard light one. But what we'll do is, we'll do that one. We'll get a couple more in that are damaged. So this one, let's see, we're missing a big section there. Very big section there. So those ones, when the corners are gone, it's very, very hard to cover without doing something to it. This one, you'll notice, it's got a chip in there. So that one, and this one, it's got a chip just here. Quite a big chip there. Now those two aren't damaged enough that we need to do something apart from cover them, because our covering will fix that. We've got another little bit missing just there on the edge. Okay, but these two, we're actually going to, they're polyethylene, polypropylene type plastics. Whatever you do to these, you're not going to bond anything onto them. Not going to matter, because what we're going to do is put a slight bit of body filler on them just to get the shape of it. Because then by the time we put the wrapping on, it will hold it in place no matter what, and we've got the shape, so it will stick initially when you're doing it, but the first time you give it a real hard thing, it will probably come off as a whole thing. So what we'll do for those, first off, I'm just going to use a bit of body filler, okay, just a tiny bit. But first, to make it easier for us, we get a little bit of masking tape. I'm going to make a frame for that filler. Okay, so we've got a corner gone here. So I'll start, I'm going inside the casing, don't squeeze it down yet, so just proud of it, then start coming along because I want a nice sharp corner in there, I'm just smoothing it down, so I've got myself a little wall made, that's on the inside, okay, and don't bring it over at the top, it's just inside, just one, and upwards a bit for that, but really, we don't be bothered with rubbing down and stuff there, so we don't want any excess, so we get another bit of tape. What we're going to do is the ledge we've obviously got to put there, but underneath the ledge, we don't. So we're coming just underneath of the ledge. This has all been sanded down by the way, so all the edges are going to be clean. Okay, I'm coming across like that. So that when we've got the filler on, we can just peel that bit back. Much less sanding to do, and we don't like sanding. Okay, so we're just squeezing it in on the grooves, getting a good contact with that one. Getting the other end smashed off, so we're going to do the same again there. You get another little bit of tape. Go on the inside. Just chuck it right down inside the casing. Start in the corner. Smooth along, so we're right in the corner again there, and smooth out. So we've got another wall just there, okay, and then do another bit on the other side just there. A little bit of tape, it's coming down below it, okay, squeeze in there and there, right, that's one of them done. Get the other one with just the corner missing, and obviously you know the drill now. We're going to look a little bit inside to start with, just plonk it in there, tease it into the corner first because that's where we actually do want it, and smooth it around, then a bit below. This bit of preparation will save quite a bit of time in trying to make a shape or form back again. So coming down under the lip, Okay, so I've got a bit under the lip, a bit inside, and I'm just going to get some filler in that little bit there. Okie dokie, so we'll mix up a bit of the filler. Try and make it quite weak, because it doesn't have to go off in 2 seconds, and the amount you're mixing up, nice even, you want an even colour, you fold through it, fold through it. If you don't mix it all the way through, you'll get bits that set, bits that don't set, so this is made quite hot, shouldn't have been that pink, but we don't need much time, and that will help us because it will go off quicker. Alright, then always check on the back of your knife, because if there's any unmixed stuff, that's where it will be. Okay, got a nice even colour there, so just get a little bit on your palette. Okay, start with a corner, build up, because what you actually want is a ledge slightly higher than what you're trying to fix. Okay, so you've got to come out, squeeze it in there, so before you even try and make a shape, just make sure you're getting a good contact first. So you squeeze it all in, then we'll go for the shape after. Okay, I'll come in like that. I've pretty much got myself a corner, and that's going to do me. Okay, so we're going on to the next one before this filler goes off. We'll come in just the one side missing on this bit. Squeeze it in there, then lift it back up to get above the shape. We want it to be higher and sticking out more. Otherwise you get nothing to sand, do you? Because you're already losing the minute you start sanding. It's got to be higher and further away, so that when you do sand off, you bring it down to the level you want. Okay, go to the other end so this starts to set, which it's already starting to do, because I made mine much too strong. So I'm probably going to have to mix up a little bit more. No, I won't bother with that one. It starts to go a bit stiff, get it off. So while the camera's off, I'm going to mix up a little bit more, put it on that corner which I've already been through. And then we'll put them to one side and come back to the other casings that just have the foil on. Okay, the two casings we're just going to foil up. That's just a heads up here. When you've got the filler on, I've already just done that corner, okay? The one where it went off is, while it's just half going off, peel back the tape, and that excess stuff we've put on, just come off. So now we're only going to sand, we want to sand, not halfway everywhere. Sanding half the switch, be there all day. We don't want that, do we? We've got better things to do. So is that one? No, it's just starting to go off as well, so we'll take a whole bit of paper off. Still going to have to let it harden afterwards, but it's just while it's going off, it's a bit easier to use. Just pulling it off and back. Okay, gives you a lot less to rub down. So that one's to one side, and I'll get the other one, pull the other one off as well. Take care, and just do a little bit at a time, but if it goes completely hard, you won't have time to do this. In which case, you have a bit more sanding to do. Take the inside one out. So even on the inside where we put it, you've now not got it really messy in there. It's quite a clean, just makes it so much easier to sand. So clear the bench off. And our two casings. So these are the not so chipped casings. Alright, this one's got a chipped one there, the chipped one, and the double chipped one, but the other one's got a bit off the edge. So we're doing a little bit off the edge, one end. Okay. So we're going to start with either of them, pretty much empty kit. Which will get one of the lids. Okay, let's try and peel that back. Stick your side up, hold it in place. Same again with your four corners, get it right in the middle with an even gap out to each edge of the material. Okay, generally get it into. It's only just resting it on there. It doesn't matter. When you're happy with the position, turn over. Same technique, you know where your damaged bits are either end. Okay, I'm going to start on one side, just going to smooth down a little bit, and I'm going to capture it underneath, along there, get it right in. And it should tuck right into the underneath of it, batten the side bit down. Okay, let's start with one side. And I go over to the other side, put my thumb on the bit I've already put down, lift up slightly and I pull across taut. Roll along the edge, then I'm going to capture underneath. So capture underneath, just rub the underside down. That's why it's very important to clean up under here on your casing. Now we've got the dabbing ends, okay, so there's nothing of your ledge missing, so you can come straight over, pull it taut, fold under, and run along underneath. They don't always stay in place, but when we get with side wrapping, same again, pull, fold over, tuck underneath. Okay. And pretty much get your square on. So now you're going to the second part of your kit. Strip. Peel that back. Start again. Half along the casing. As high up towards the ledge as you can, but obviously not over the ledge. So we're happy with that. Smooth down, so now pull taut, wind around the corners, don't let it slip out your thumb, tie it around, pull around with your thumb, at the second corner, pull in taut again, in, along, and around. We love it, pretty much. Smooth all that down, smooth down, smooth down. Make the indents where your spring clips would sit on the ends. And again. So now we're going for the V-cuts, so I want my little cutter, something to rest on, because we're cutting those corners out again. Okay, cutting a V towards you so you can see it. Cutting a V out, a V out. Pretty much we're just going to pull those off and they're all cut. Right into the end of the switch and make your 4 V's. Okay, just get each V piece, pull it off, pull it off, another end, pull it off, another one, pull it off. Starting with the ends, we're going to fold in and over, the end in, and over, and the sides, you're going to roll those over, and the side one, you're going to roll that over, smooth it all down. Okay, as before, what we're looking for is your slit in there, your little pins, you want to make a shape for them, your 4 bits for the dog ears, and your 2 little bits for your spring pins to go in. So just put that there for a second, but pretty much you notice you're going to have all your shape back. It's not picked up any of the faults and it will cover them beautifully for you. In fact, you don't have to cut the front bit, but I will put the envelope cut in the top just to show you that it does. I just wanted to get the other one done for you, then we'll get onto the sanding. And in, and across. So pretty much start with the long ends on this, one side, roll over, one side, two ends, over, smooth it down. Look at that. So if you do get any slight dog-eary bit coming down underneath, same again, when it's all in place, it's just trim it off. And down. See the fault has gone. Let's do the other casing, because this one had one in the long, so there's one here, and when we're folding that over, you're obviously going to try not to press right on that crease, so you're going to miss, and do just either side of it, and a foil will actually just pick up the rest of the shape. Okay, so we've got the damaged bit at the end as well, but we'll start with another lid. It's not used. Peel the lid off. Key side up, balancing on. There, like that. We'll start with, first off, you'll look for your damaged side. My damaged side is just here, so I know to be careful of that. We'll start with that one second, alright? We're going over to this side that's not damaged. Just makes it a bit easy to start, that's all. Doing the same again, folding over the underneath. You've got that where you like it. Smooth the rest of the material down flat. Lift up, there's your damaged bit there, so I'm going to put the pressure just to one side of it over here. So, thumb on the edge, pull across taut, lock into place. I shall get the phone and I'll come back. Yeah. Okay, so pretty much you're dodging that section just there, so, but I can still run along underneath it, you know what I mean? Still run along underneath, trapped it down. Okay, I'm still going to pull that end over, even though we had a damaged end, fold underneath, that end over, fold underneath. Okay, so I've got it all pretty much pinched into position. Then I shall put a strip on. Let's get a strip from the kit. Peel it back. Same again, starting halfway along. Good bit. This time harder with your thumb so we don't slip out again. So either way, pulling it around taut, getting it caught on that corner. Pretty much once you've got it there, it's stay there. Along the other side. Taut and around, all the way through, and again, and it will butt up with your other end of material. Indents in, indents in. Put the envelope cut on this one, just to show you. Across, and across, and in. Pretty much fold over, but if it's a damaged one, just slightly higher as you fold in. You don't really want to run off the edge, and higher, and in. Same with your two ends. got? There's just one tiny little dog here. The rest of them are looking good, but I've got to say, you've got your shape back, and even if there's a button, we can just slip a button in there. If you force me, if you're telling, yes, put a button in, and you'll just see. Should I pick one that I've straightened up? There will be one here somewhere, even as I've got. Come on, one that I've bothered to put on straight. There we go, that one's better. Get in the habit, if I've got them all ready, as have them in place. Let's just make them straight. Get your all reliable pliers, bring those ends in a little bit. Now, it's straighter there, isn't it? Of course, I should have done that in the first place. Push it in. That gives you the impression, see, you're back to looking fantastic, aren't you? Oh, right. Should get onto those ones with the body filler now. Pretty much what I would use to make it far easier. I just got this at 80 grit. You're obviously not going to go all over it and start ripping into it. It's just delicately going to pick a little bit. What you don't want to do is put any real stress. Obviously it's bonded on and it will stay there, but it's not a brilliant strong hang a house off of it bond, alright? So pretty much I'm going to start with the top. I'm going to bring the surface of the top down. I'm looking for a shape there. So I'll bring that down a bit. That's not all the way down, but then I will start with the outer one. So you're going to hit a little bit of what's still normal casing, so just be gentle as you slide in there, but that's what you're looking for. Shape across the top, shape across the side. Don't worry about the bottom until you've got the other shapes done. Once that's done, then yeah, you can run with the straight edge along till you get a level bit. So while I'm making a mess here, I'll just pause it, I'll rub these little bits down and come back. Let's have a look. See you in a sec. Alright, how'd you go with your casings? Should wear a little mask when you're sanding down as well. Now this one, well, that was the one where either end was gone, and I've just smoothed it down. Now it's quite comfortable because because you've got to get your rocker back in there, get a little trimmer, and if it's just not straight along the sides, but it's mainly those corners, because you've got that steel plate of the rocker assembly to go in, to get it. And you notice I've just come in underneath, spend a little bit of time in that section under there, because as much as we're going to file the spring pin off, you still want some room for it to go into. Alright, but either way, so that one I've left bonded on. This one, if you can see that, I give it a little bit of a tug, so that it's now pretty much disconnected. Alright, just to show you that it's going to make no difference. I'll push that back down in place. It's not a terminal thing. Once again, I've cleaned the corners out. Right, because the covering you're going to put over it, this is that old rusty XLR one, that's the submarine. So we'll start with the one at either end. So you're going to need from your kit a lid. Peel the lid back. Same story, is sticky side up. Put it as close as you can to the middle. Got that one first time. Okay, come across, usual pattern. Start on one side. I'm going to work under. Just hold it underneath. Smooth down. grip with the thumb, pull across, taut, fold, and lock that one under as well. Okay, we've got two sides on, going for an end now. Roll, push under, get into place. Roll, push under, smooth into place. It makes no difference to me if they're popping up. I'll let that go. I've got the shape. The shape's what I want with my sides. I'm going to put that on. So now I'm going to want the long strip. Pull back along the side. Just simply won't stay in place at the smaller ends, so I'm gripping onto there, and I just slightly fold under, so I just got my nail, I just folded it under, so when I pull across, you see, I'm pulling it in, coming along the long side, but I don't want to go right around the corner because the other little side's popping up on this one. I should have dusted it off. There's an important tip. After you finish sanding, dust it off thoroughly. Okay, just tuck that under there again, come over, putting it in place, because my side bit is doing what it's supposed to do, which is holding it in place. Okay, so I'll make a little indent again with spring pins, a little indent with spring pins. Coming in, looking for an ear, we've got an ear there. Just smooth it over a little bit. Just down that. Okay. Put in. Little cuts again. Down a little bit. I haven't done over the back yet, but that would just be the same old going around, and you can put in. Well, actually, another thing is, it's more important that you get all of those. So you might even try that before you put the foil over. Is get that to go in through that bit as smooth as possible, because it will have changed the shape slightly. Alright, this one seems to be quite smooth, but you straighten it up before you put the foil over, so you get an easy pop in. Just pop it down, it'll clip in. There, and you damaged one now. Not looking so damaged at all, is it? And that will work fine for you again. And this stuff, I should hold it all in place. If it's all gripped in by that, it's going to be pinned to your dashboard, going nowhere. Lovely, let's do the other one, shall we? So this is the one where that bit has come away, but it doesn't matter because the foil is going to hold it in place. But I might just give that a wipe off. Seeing as the other one giving me a bit of grief sticking wise because of the dust. See, we've got that bit right off now. That's actually even better. So the bit's off. Okay, but since we've got it all into shape, I'm just going to place it back on. So literally, try and do this and keep it on the camera, so not too easy. Just balance it in place, put it down there. Stop watching the camera, watch the switch. Now you're going to do a camera trick, innit, to say, there we go, oh, and there we go. So put it back together again. Get a lid again, take that off, down. So what we're going to do is stop gripping on me. I'm going to pinch that in place, turn it upside. I've got pinched in place on my finger. It's off. Pinch it in. Twist it on. Turn it over. So we're going to get it on the first time. So get it down and on. Can live with that. So I'll start on the side that is broken. That way I'll hold it in place. I'm just going to run along, pinch it under. That should put it in place. Smooth it down underneath. Okay. Not such a big lift this time. I'm still going to pull it taut across. I'm trying not to disturb that bit now. Just makes it a little bit trickier. Smooth it down, get it right under the lip. Okay, so we're down under one lip, down the other lip. Fold one end over. Fold it backwards. That's the damaged side. Fold under. Okay, so we're going, next step is the long strip. Let's come to a long strip. Gimme a long strip. And because I'm prepared, I didn't have one, got one now. There we go. So I'll peel off the long strip. Do the same as we normally do. Halfway across. In a straight line under the ledge, flatten down, pull taut, wrap across, follow it round, pull taut, wrap across, follow it around, taut and across, follow it round, tuck under. That should give us bonding there. Smooth down your little inset bits again. Pretty much not looking that bad. So we'll put a cut in there, envelope one again, in, across, in, across, join them up. Going to roll in alongside, roll in alongside, and then the two ends. Down a bit. And there we've got from something terminal with a whole corner missing. Got a button. And pretty much I haven't done the back yet, but we'll try it with a button. I mean, you know how to put the back, or be putting the back in anyway, it's a standard thing. Push in place. Really look at that, eh? And that's actually not the bit, is it? Because we have a panel light one in there, but this is just for demo to make sure you're going to put the right button back in. All of a sudden, the complete write-off is now really quite acceptable, and really that stuff will hold it in place. And once you've popped it into your dashboard, it's going nowhere. It's the only bit you're going to touch, and now you've got all that working lovely and smooth. Not a problem, and you can still put your spring things back on when you're reassembling. So I'll go and chuck this one back together as a proper switch so I don't lose all the bits, and then we'll get back on with the switch building. Clean casing into a switch, scrubbed up underneath the line, I hope, got it all clean. Okay, we can do that. So first from your magic kit then, you get one of the lids. Peel the lid back. Okay, so I'm going to put that sticky side up, down there. You want your casing, you're going to try and get the four corners in the middle to match an even gap out to the edges. Okay, pretty much get that on. So we don't push down hard. Take it off to line it up. We're like that. Going to pick it up. You haven't pressed down hard, so we're going to start one of the long sides. So what I want to do is just put a little bit of pressure along one of the long sides. And I'm going to fold it slightly, because what I really want is to get it underneath the ledge. So I'm putting my nail across, so turn it over now and look. That's where I want it to stick underneath there, evenly along. Then I can flatten it down. Okay, so that's all we've done so far. It's got one side on. Now, I'll put my thumb just here, because I'm going to lift it up slightly and pull across that way. Okay, across, taut, grip down, fold and take it under. It doesn't pin off. Fold, rub down, tuck under, same as the other side. Okay, and then flatten that material down. And it grips. Nice. One side's on, one side's on. Okay, now I'm going to go to the ends and do the same again. Pull outwards that way, fold under, tuck in and down. Go to the other side, pull, fold and down. And always stick on the short end straight away, which doesn't matter, we just want the form there. Now what you'll find is you might get, if you haven't put it on centralised, these little dog ears coming off. So before we put our other strip round, we'll get the cutter. We won't always get this, and just take a slight bit of the edge off. Put it in place there, a slight bit of that overhanging off. And last one, just there, leaving it covered on the top. So now, I'm going to put that down, get a long strip. Go, so I'm going to peel that back. And where I want to start is halfway along the long side. Okay, tuck it up underneath the lip as high as you can without coming onto the lip. Then I'm going to grip it with my thumb because I want to pull it tight as I can to get it around that corner. So I've gripped around a corner, follow it around now, hold into that corner, tight again, tight as, get it comfortable, twist it around, follow it along with your thumb, keeping it taut all the way over. Just like that. So now we've grabbed the whole thing, smooth it round. You have your two indents where your spring clip goes. So we're going to fold into there, just make an impression with your nail. Or a nail file or whatever you've got to go in there. So what we want to do now is get something to cut onto, because in each corner we're just going to cut a V out. Across, across, like that. So each corner taking a little bit of a V out, okay? Start a long end and go. A V. Start from the corner of the switch, work backwards. When I've cut these, I'll turn it around and show you. V. So all I've literally done, I've not gone below the surface of the switch, just cut these out, okay? Because then they would just literally pull off very easily like that. But by doing it around those two I haven't quite got down to the corner, so I'll just give them another cut. That one's off, and that one's off. We've got all four. So at the back still, on the short end, we're going to roll over to the backing of the switch, and the other short side over onto the backing, like that. Then you'll fold over your long sides. Just tease it over. Fold into place. Press down. So what you've got at the moment is everything sealed in. So obviously we're going to need to cut some of this stuff out of the back, and you will find we've got a trigger gap at the back there. You want to put a slot in, because your button's got to push its little leg through to make contact. Come up to the top, start from just inside the corner edge. You can start from the middle outwards, but what we want is an envelope cover, so we've got a cut there, up, up, up and up. It's easier and just quicker for me. I'll start from the outsides. Okay. Then I'm going to fold in longer edges. Just roll over your finger, like that. And the short edges, smooth them down inside. Okay, they'll all grip in. So far we're looking like that. I've got a little bit cut here for your button. If I had a button I could show you. Your little leg has to come through it. So what we're cutting for next is right out on the edges. You're going to have 4 slits that need to go in to match your 4 legs. Okay, and you can feel for them with your knife, but they're right near the edge. So your knife will just sink in. You can make a little indent. I've gone in because I know where that one is, but the next one I'll presume I don't. And all I've done is just made a little slot in there so that the ear can come through. The next one, if I'm looking for it, I just rub with my thumbnail, and it will leave me an impression where it is. So I know exactly where it is now. Just cut in. Okay. So I need to do it on all 4 corners without throwing the knife at anyone. If you start gouging into it and there's big chunks of plastic coming off, you know you're not in the right spot, so you will need to put the imprint in it so you'll know just where to cut. So I've got all 4 cut for the dog ears come through. So pretty much you've already straightened these up, so they're in a nice pattern so that will smoothly go into there, because you're going to put your button in and through now. Just guide it up through the 4 holes that you've slit. So now we've got 4 legs and your buttons going through. But any bit here you can trim off where you've been cutting the slot. You just trim off any of the excess bit without cutting the button off. Happy with that, that's okay. Now, the bit I'm going to want to get to next, if I show you a different casing, what we've got here is on the back of that, you've got a little pin just there, and a little pin just there, so on opposite sides, there and there. Those you want to find on the back of this. Pretty much, you're just going to rub over it, and you've got the impression there, you're just going to cut the square around it, because we really want that little pin exposed. Just cut a straight line, so we're just going to cut a square out. That will leave that pin. Take off your little excess bit. Away. So now that little pin is exposed. You go to the other side. Same again. I'll feel down where it is and cut a square around it. It's just that these guide the back block on, so you really don't want them blocked up. It's a bit too hard to push the back of the switch on. You're watching your fingers all the time, don't want to cut yourself. Just cut that excess bit off. And now I've got both pins. They're exposed now. One more bit to cut. You've gone off, you've filed your 2mm off of there, okay, the shorter edge. You're leaving the longer one. It's the longer bit that wants to sit rest in there when you reassemble. So it's just going to sit like that, and it has a little slot and the switch that it can recess to clip it into place. That's just behind the pin. Same again, you can push with your fingernail, find the slot, found the slot, it's in there. You don't even have to clean the whole section out. As long as there's a slot there, your spring pin will mount into it. As long as it's long enough, go all the way for the gap. There we go. Got one, and we've got them both. So we cut the two slots. Cut a gap there for your rocker button to go through. You've got your four legs coming through. Okay, you've got your trigger in. Starting to look like something now, isn't it? What we need now then is the back. The block. You've cleaned your contacts, given your pins a bit of a clean if they're grubby. You check your spring, lubricated your spring, and cleaned your contact face. Now that, you're going to lubricate now, so you're going to want a little bit of grease, put it across the contact, like that, and that will carry inside. So you're going to put that in. Remember to line up your slot the right way around so your button can go back in and drive it. A little bit of grease on the top of this button, because that's got some bits to do as well. Not a lot of grease on the top bit. Then, pretty much, so we're going to be putting the spring pins in, but you'll just put your arm coming down from your rocker button into the slot. Just bring it over in the ears, just over your box. Okay, you're not going to push it down taut yet because we're still going to put the springs in. So with a larger part, the arm's pointing up to the top of the switch. You've got one in one side, and the switch round. Might have to move it back slightly to get that one in. Luckily we bought a spare one since that one just fell on the floor. So I had a spare one just here. Put that one under. Okay, so we've got both the spring pins in. Now we're going to bring it together. And you just tease it up and tease it up. Some extra stuff to be pushing into now. You've got the chrome on. Push those spring pins. Good old squeeze till the gap's gone here, because then your legs will now be over the steps that they need to squeeze onto. So you're going to pinch together, get yourself a pair of pliers, open the pliers out to the right size. You don't want to just close them all the way, but we're going to bend over those ears over the little steps that are on the switch. Okay, try and do this in front of you. Just going to get that ear first, then over, turn over, squeezing it all the time. Bend that one over. Okay. Come over to this side, get another squeeze again. A bit harder for you on this one because the pins are on this side. Pretty much bringing that gap down. Okay. Just get it's used to being closed up, because then it's easy for you to pinch into place. Once you've got it gripped in, like that, we can fold over our hookers again. Come around this side. Probably taken longer than I need to with this, because I'm not used to doing it back to front and upside down. But it's important to use this. So I got the dog ears folded over onto their steps. Okay, you get lovely. Look at that. Oh, and that will work each time, every time. What you got now? Beautiful switch. Lovely. With $1 million in there in your car, sitting there, you've got to look at it every day when you're driving. Things you're going to need. So you've got to be happy. Yeah, it's a blade screwdriver. There are tweezers, a little penknife, or more ideally a nail file, a metal nail file. In the case of the Australian Escort switch, a little silver marker, adjustable pliers, a bowl fill with water, touch of 320 wet and dry sandpaper. Apart from these things, you're going to need a little touch of grease and a clear and compatible black can of aerosol, because you're going to do some painting. But the results, oh, the results when you finished, it's just well worth it. Well worth this effort. Every day you have to look at these switches, get them working properly, get them looking beautiful. Easy, just watch the rest. Have a lovely time.